How is everybody doing today? Hope you all are having a epic Thursday. We are live. I hope you all are having a beautiful Thursday. Yes, we are live. Say what up in the comment section for those who are tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about is the 7 major lessons for making, 5K per month as a copywriter. And again, essentially how you can do it for yourself, right? Personally, one thing that I've realized, there's a ton of lessons, but I think today in today's training, I'm going to be discussing about the 7 crucial lessons that I think personally that can help you guys to elevate and, to essentially help you guys to grow, right? I think throughout my whole copywriting journey from, starting from 2020 or say 2021, technically that's when I really started, to 2022, and even going for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. I think the journey was definitely challenging, but it helped me develop my character in ways that I personally didn't see, right? And one of the beautiful things that I think and again, I think God placed this into my life to essentially see the true individual that I was. And I really think the 7 major lessons I'm going to be sharing with you guys is really going to revolutionize and change your guys' perspective on your journey, right? So if you're watching this, show some love in the comment section. Put hashtag excited, put hashtag where you're from, and tell me, you guys, before I go into these 7 major lessons, tell me what is your biggest goal for 2023. Tell me what's your biggest goal. Drop it down in the comment section for those who are tuning in. Tell me what's your biggest goal right now in 2023. Again, if you guys are watching this, show some love in the comment section. And for those who are just tuning in today, I'm going to be discussing the 7 major lessons from making 5K per month as a copywriter. And again, how you can do the same thing as well in your copywriting business. Like I said before, for those who are tuning in, if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Nicholas Thorpe. I started my copywriting journey, in December 2020. But I went fully into it this January 2021. Right. So December 2020, that's when I was, learning about it. And that's when I actually made my first investment into copywriting. So I was a junior in high school, I was a junior in college. I made my first $1,000 investment in a skill that I had no idea about. I had a call with an individual, it was Danlock specialist. I had no idea what copywriting was. I was like, you know what? It sounds interesting. I'm going to say, screw it. I invested $1,000 into it. Right. And at the time too, I was doing DoorDash. I was at school. I was in Utica University. Right. And throughout that time, right, personally, I made a mental note to myself. I didn't tell this to anybody. I didn't tell this to my parents. I didn't tell this to my grandmother. I didn't tell this to nobody. I was stuck. I did not know exactly what I wanted to do after I graduated from school. Right. So me being in desperation and not knowing exactly what my future was, I was like, you know what? This sounds like something that, even though I have no idea what this skill is, I don't know whether I'm good or not. I don't know whether even though I'm not an expert, whether I don't have any portfolio testimony, I don't know anything about copywriting. I'm going to invest into this skill set and see what happens. Right. So I made my first $1,000 investment. Right. That's when I made that first $1K investment. Right. I took the course. It was an expensive course. It was Dan Lock's course. I was watching YouTube videos, doing all these things. Right. Felt stuck, got a mentor who showed me process. He showed me, proven strategies to help me elevate my skill sets. Right. And at the time too, although I had no idea what copywriting was, at the same time, I knew I wanted to be my own boss and be my own entrepreneur. And that's what copywriting gave me. Right. So that's the number one reason why I began that journey, because it gave me a leverage and a vehicle for me to be my own entrepreneur. Right. And throughout that journey, I went through challenges, obstacles, setbacks. It was a challenge for me to get my first client. I'll be completely honest with you. Right. Even after even going through the strategies and it being proven, it's been proven to work, and it helped me, of course. But in the beginning, it was difficult. Right. It was difficult for me. Right. It wasn't like it was as simple as ABC. I went through challenges. I went through difficulties. There was times when I wanted to give up, but I stayed persistent. I still kept going, right? I still persevered, right? And I've been able to, and I say this humbly as well. I've been able to go from just not knowing anything about copywriting to making a solid 5K a month, right? Just because of the fact of throughout these lessons that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, right? So if you're excited about this, show some love in the comment section, right? And let's just get straight into the lessons, right? So again, that's a little story about me. But again, what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is the 7 major lessons that I've learned from making 5K per month as a copywriter. Again, how you can do the same thing as well, right? So lesson number 1, changing your identity, right? So when I quit as you guys heard from my story, right? I was doing DoorDash at the time, right? And this was in December 2020. I was doing DoorDash at the time. I was running my mother's gas mileage. I was running her gas, right? I was running her gas, her mileage, all that stuff from her car for me to make some form of income with DoorDash, right? And at the time, I decided at the time as well, I didn't want to pursue criminal justice, right? I made this mental note to myself. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to disappoint anybody. But I made this mental note to myself. I don't want to do this, right? And I made that investment to fully go into copywriting, right? And once I made that investment, personally, internally, I didn't know I was, again, even though I made that first investment internally, I didn't view myself as a copywriter. I did not view myself as a copywriter. I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't view myself as a copywriter, right? And, one thing as I kept going and, learning more about copy and learning about it and seeing the potential, right? I was facing setbacks, but the reason why I was facing setbacks was because, again, I didn't identify myself as a copywriter, right? I was going through a lot of these challenges. I was going through a lot of these difficulties, right? But I had to, my mentality was the fact that, again, like, I'm still that guy. I'm still that kid who was still lost and confused in school. I was still that kid who committed grand larceny. I'm still that kid who did XYZ. I'm still that kid who did that. And that was a mindset thing. Right? And I had to shift that for me to realize, okay, even if I didn't, for my case as well, right? Even though I made that first investment, right? I still, since I made that investment, now I'm learning copy. Now my mindset have to shift. I have to make a identity shift within myself, because now that I made this investment and I plan on going fully into it, I have to change my identity, right? And remember, whatever stage you're at in your copywriting business, right? Whether you're brand new, right? You're a day into copy, whether you're a year, 2 years, it doesn't matter. Always remember, the identity of yourself is only temporary. It's not permanent. So what does that mean? The identity that you have within yourself right now, right? Whether you're not making, whether you just started copywriting business, you're struggling to get your first client, whether you have a copywriting business, you're making 3K, you're trying to get to that 5K, right? The identity within yourself right now, the identity that you see that within yourself, of you being the copywriter who's making that, 3K, or you being that copywriter who's making that first, or trying to get to that first client, that individual within yourself, that's only temporary. It's not permanent, right? And again, what does that mean, right? You have to be able to change who you are, change the identity within yourself, change the mindset shift within yourself first for you to elevate and get to that next level, right? Personally, the world and even myself, I saw myself as someone who lacked direction in life, right? I saw myself as someone who, again, I committed grand larceny at age 18. The world saw me as that individual, right? The world saw me as someone who committed grand larceny, someone who was stuck, didn't know exactly what to do in after graduating from school, someone who didn't, have a vision, right? Have a future for himself. The world saw me like that. I saw myself as that because I was listening to people who were telling me that, right? But I had to change my identity first. I had to change that identity shift, right? I had to change my perspective about the world. Remember, your perspective around your world is your reality. If you perceive the world in a way where, let's say you're a copywriter right now, right? And you're struggling to get to that first client, right? You're like, I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to get that first client. I'm never going to make 3K a month, right? Why is it so difficult? Why is it so challenging, right? You're giving out to the world. You're giving out vibrations of not only, negativity, but you're sending out vibrations to a perspective of yourself. The fact that, you're not going to get it to that desired goal that you want to get to. It all starts, everyone, with the perspective shift, right? Once you change your mindset and identity, your world changes too. Always remember that. Once you change your perspective on the world, once you change the way you view the world, right? Your mindset on the world, your life eventually changes as well. Always remember, when you change, when your perspective changes, the world follows. Always remember that when your perspective on the world changes, the world follows back with you, right? So it all starts with your identity shift. You have to change your perspective on yourself, right? So that's lesson number 1, changing your identity, changing your perspective. Show some love in the comment section if you guys are feeling inspired right now and you guys are loving this so far. So lesson number one, grab your notes, grab your pen. Lesson number 1, changing your identity, your perspective. Lesson number 2, you can't figure it out on your own. Now, if you look at some of the most successful people in the world, I'm talking about LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, right? I know they're all basketball players. Tiger Woods, right? If you look at, when it comes to LeBron or when it comes to Kobe, and you look at Michael Jordan as well. If you look at Michael Jordan's story, Michael Jordan is one of the most successful and most talented basketball players to ever walk on this planet Earth. And the reason why was because he had Tim Grover to coach him and help him along the way. If you know Michael Jordan's story, Michael was not the individual who was perceived. On paper, he wasn't supposed to make it. On paper, he wasn't supposed to make it. Right? If you look at his high school track record, Michael was he wasn't able to go on his high school team. Right? He wasn't able to because of the fact that he didn't have the skill set yet, right, to help him to get there. But he was training and he was working with coaches to help him to get to that next level. Right? And with that, once he leveraged these coaches, once he leveraged these individuals to help him get to that next level, that's when he started to improve. And that's when he started getting to the NBA. That's when he started winning chips. That started winning championships. Right? So I want you to remember that. You can't figure it out on your own. And that's something that I had to realize within my copywriting journey. I can't figure it out on my own. Even if I'm watching YouTube videos, reading books, doing all these things, making it seem like I'm growing, I can't figure it out on my own because I'm eventually going to hit a brick wall. And that's exactly what happened, right? So if I tell you a quick story about my journey, right? So it was, again, the first investment I made with copy. It was a $1,000 investment into Dan Locke's course, right? That was December 2020, right? Hey, what's going on, Melissa? Hope you're all doing. Abby, what's going on? Hey, Mom. How is everybody doing? Hey, Nana, how you guys doing, right? So, so as I was saying, right? It was December 2020 when I made my first investment into copywriting, right? It was an expensive course. It was a $1,000 course. It was Dan Locke's course. It was very expensive, right? At the time, I was 20 years old, a junior in college, right? I had about like 3K in my account, right? I invested that 1,000, went down to 2K, right? And I was taking these courses, right? And I was doing all these things. I was watching YouTube videos, reading books, doing all these things. Of course, I'm absorbing the information, but I eventually hit a brick wall because I wasn't able to ask questions on things that I needed clarity on. I wasn't able to see like, okay, so let's say when I was watching these courses, right, Dan Locke was telling me like, hey, here's exactly how you structure your copy, right? What happens if I needed some advice when it comes to getting my copy critiqued? How am I able to see specifically what things am I doing to improve? What things am I doing wrong, right? That was when I had to realize, that was the brick wall that hit me. Where it was like, okay, now I have structure, but how am I know I'm doing the right things? I need somebody who can give me the feedback to help me to making sure that I have clarity, make sure I'm going the right direction, right? And the key foundation, everyone, right? And when I realized that as well, right? When I realized that I needed somebody to give me some form of feedback, that's when I made that investment. Of course, the investment was a lot of money, right? It was money that I probably didn't have as junior in college, but it was worth it because I was able to understand and get clarity from someone who's been in my shoes before and has the results that I want, right? He's been in my shoes. He understands the challenges that I'm going through. That was what my copywriting mentor, that's what he showed me. He was somebody who's been in my shoes before and had the results that I wanted within my copywriting business, right? And of course, although the investment was a lot of money, again, money that I did not have, I still made it, and it was worth every single dime because I had clarity in my life. I paid for implementation. I implemented exactly what I needed to do. I got the accountability to feedback, and through there, I was able to ask questions when I got stuck. I was able to ask questions when I needed clarity on something, right? And always remember, everyone, the key to achieving your vision, the vision that you have, yes, I'm talking to you, the one right now who's watching me right now. Yes, you. The key to achieving your vision is having the foundation of people supporting you and guiding you along your journey. Me personally, I had my mentors around me. I had family around me, right? You want to have a foundation of people who support you, but you also want to have a foundation of people guiding you the right direction, right? Of course, I had my family. They were supporting me, rooting me on, but I also needed some form of foundation for people to actually guide me doing something that I personally wanted to do, right? Which was having that copywriting business that I made that mental note. I made a decision to myself that I wanted to pursue this. No matter how difficult it got, no matter how challenging it got, no matter how much setbacks happen, I made a decision to myself to make that happen, right? Remember, everyone, by doing it alone, you'll always face mistakes, setback, and eventually plateau, right? And I want you to remember this. Although mistakes are, they're part of success, right? Even I had this I remember from the first coaching call that I had with my clients, I told them mistakes are valuable. You need to make mistakes, but you want to make the right mistakes, though. You don't want to making the same mistakes. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? And me, within my copywriting journey, when I was doing the same thing all over again, right? I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? I was wondering, what am I doing wrong? Right? And I was expecting a different result, but I was doing the same mistakes over and over again. And I was insane, right? That's Albert Einstein's quote. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, right? And by doing it alone, right? Of course, you're going to face mistakes, challenges, setbacks. But at the end of the day, though, you want to make sure you're going the right direction. You have clarity within your life. It's all about the clarity, right? It's all about clarity, right? You want to find someone, again, who's been in your shoes before and has what you want in life, no matter what it is. Let's say you want to grow, your own, I don't know, whatever kind of business, right? Whether it be copywriting business, right? Whatever type of business that you want to have, right? Whatever goal you want to achieve, whether you're trying to leverage copywriting, as a vehicle to help you to create your own business, whatever the case may be, you can't figure it out on your own. You're eventually going to plateau. Eventually you will plateau. You can't figure it out on your own. Find somebody who has what you want in life and somebody who's been in your shoes before. That's step number one. Find someone who's been in your shoes before, somebody who understands your challenges, your struggles, and the frustrations that you're going through right now, whether it be in your copywriting business, whether it be, in school, whatever the case may be, whatever vision that you have for yourself, find someone who's been in your shoes before, right? That's the foundation to success that a lot of people don't talk about. Find someone who's been in your shoes before and then has the results that you want, right? I was listening to, an audio earlier today, right? And I always listen to this whenever I'm doing my work, right? Whenever I'm doing my work for myself, right? And what he was saying was so true, right? What he essentially was saying, and it's the same foundation that I just said. Find someone who's been in your shoes before and has the results that you want, right? What he was saying is all of these books, if you read all these books, right? Again, I'm a huge advocate of reading. right? But the thing is, if you ever read like, like what's a successful book that I could think of? Well, I don't know. Whatever, there's a lot of books that's going through my mind, right? But whatever book it is, right? A successful book, right? Let's say you read it. Majority of the time for the people who read it, for the people who actually write it, those are not actually the real authors. Like, for example, the autobiographies, right? Those individuals are ghostwriters. So they may, be asking the individual, the individual whose story it is. Let's say, for example, if it's, Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett, right? His story, right? With Warren Buffett's story, Warren Buffett did not spend his time writing that book. He didn't spend his time writing that book. Warren Buffett is a multi-billionaire. He's not going to spend time writing that book. He's going to have somebody else write it for him, a ghostwriter to write it for him, right? And through that, right, of course, the ghostwriter is going to ask Warren Buffett some questions, but Warren Buffett doesn't have enough time to be telling him all the secrets to his success. So essentially, the ghostwriter is going to be making up a few things to making sure that the story flows, right? So what I'm essentially saying, right, the whole key of this story, right? If you want to achieve whatever form of success, whether you're trying to grow a copywriting business, whether you're trying to grow, leverage copyright to, allow it to be your vehicle for another set of business, another business that you want, you need to find somebody who's been in your shoes before and has the results that you want. Those are going to be the individuals to help you, right? Not like, again, right? Your family, the celebrities, all those individuals, again, they can help you, right? But at the end of the day, they might not have exactly what you want in life. You can't ask them because they may not know exactly what you want in life. You need to find out what you want and find the people who've done it before and just ask them and get those advice from them. So you can't figure it out on your own. So lesson number 2, you can't figure it out on your own. I want you guys to write that down. You can't figure it out on your own. Lesson number 3 that I learned: become a sponge of knowledge, right? My first year as ever a copywriter, I spent $17,000 in 1 year to learn copywriting, whether it was investing into mentors and taking courses. Those are the 2 things that I did. I spent $17,000 as a freaking college student, a junior in college. I spent $17,000 to invest into mentors and taking courses. You want to become a sponge of knowledge, everyone. Become a sponge of knowledge. Remember, you are a reflection of your copywriting business. The more you learn and grow, so does your income. The more you, always remember this line, the more you learn, the more you earn. Become a sponge of knowledge. What courses are you taking? What mentors are you learning from? What individuals are you consistently dialing and absorbing and picking their brains on a daily basis? Right? Again, you can watch YouTube videos, you can read all these books, but what happens when you have these questions, right? You want to absorb as much information and knowledge as possible from people, again, who have been in your shoes before and has the results that you want, right? Become a sponge of knowledge. I hope I'm breaking some belief shifts right now. I want you guys to truly understand this right now. If you guys are feeling inspired, drop in the comment section feeling inspired and let me know if you're loving this right now. I'm feeling motivated right now. I feel like a motivational speaker right now. Right? Show some love in the comment section if you guys are liking this, right? So you want to constantly absorb valuable content that'll actually help you move the needle in your copywriting business. You want to be a constant learner, an active learner on a consistent basis. What new knowledge are you learning today about growing your copywriting business? What information are you consistently dialing? What people are you constantly learning from on a daily basis? Right? What people are you constantly learning from on a daily basis, right? Remember, everyone, when it comes to copy, right? Of course, like you can keep working and working and working and working and working and doing all these things, but you'll eventually burn out. Right? So you want to focus on being an individual who just absorbs knowledge. Become a sponge of knowledge on a consistent basis, right? I remember, when I was speaking to one of my first ever mentor that I ever spoke, my first ever mentor, and he's still my mentor to this day, right? He told me a line. It goes, knowledge without action right, is dangerous, right? Action without knowledge is dangerous. Knowledge without action is useless. So what does that mean, right? If you're absorbing all this knowledge, right? You're absorbing all this knowledge, you're not taking any action, it's useless. The knowledge is just useless, right? And you're taking all this action, yet you're not, absorbing any new knowledge. It's dangerous. You're just doing. That's dangerous because you'll eventually hit a brick wall. You're gonna feel stuck throughout the process, right? So to avoid that, you want to make sure that you're also absorbing information, but also applying the right information. Remember, that's one of the key foundations to success as well. Knowledge plus application. Apply the right knowledge and learn the right knowledge and just apply it. Just apply it. I talk about this even my first module inside the Mastering Copywriting coaching program. Knowledge, get the right knowledge, absorb the right knowledge, and apply the right knowledge. And take the right action, right? Understand the right knowledge and apply the right action on a consistent basis, right? On a consistent basis. So become a sponge of knowledge on a daily basis. Understand, learn from new mentors, take courses, just be a sponge of new information to making sure that you're getting to where you want to go to, right? So even when it comes to this example, right? When it comes to, like, if you guys ever heard of this example, right? So there's a guy, who was, chopping down. If you guys ever heard this example, right? It goes, there's a guy chopping down 30 trees in 12 hours a day, right? Then there's another guy who chops down 60 trees in 6 hours a day. Now, let me ask you specifically, when it comes to that as well, like, how was the second guy able to chop down more trees in fewer hours, right? The reason why, if you guys have ever heard this line before, the reason why is because the second guy was spending time sharpening his axe, and he was constantly learning and getting proper rest, getting proper nutrients along the way, right? So what does that mean? The guy who was chopping down 30 trees in 12 hours a day, he was chopping for 12 hours a day. He was doing more than the second guy. The second guy was able to chop down 60 trees in 6 hours a day. Literally, he doubled the amount of trees that he was cutting. The second guy doubled the amount of trees that he was cutting in half the amount of time that the first guy was doing. How was he able to do that? Because again, the second guy was spending time sharpening his axe. He was constantly learning. He was getting proper nutrients, proper rest, right? He was understanding, right, that he needed to take the proper rest for him to feel good, right? He was learning. He was seeing what ways he'd be able to chop his axe a lot better. And you have to constantly be sharpening your axe on a daily basis, which is your copywriting skills. And you need to be an active learner, right? Show some love in the comment section if you guys are loving this right now, right? So lesson number 4, consistency and patience. I spoke about this even today when I had my my interview with one of my clients, Zion. He landed his first client. Right? Crazy. But the reason why, the number one foundation to that, because he stayed consistent and he stayed patient. He stayed consistent and he stayed patient. I want you guys to remember, right? Of course, I'm a huge advocate. Get the right strategies, learn from the right people, get the right mentors to help you along the way. But at the end of the day, don't dabble from strategy to strategy. The thing is, I know a lot of people, even for myself, I had this problem, right? When I wasn't seeing instant results, right? If I tried one strategy, I wasn't seeing instant results right away. I wasn't seeing instant, instant results. I wasn't able to see instant results at the time where I wanted to see the instant results, right? And if I would have gave up, right, when I wasn't seeing instant results, even though I was doing the right strategies, even if I was messaging people, I was doing the Loom strategies, I was doing all these things to get my first set of clients, right? And then after that, of course, using referrals to get more consistent clients for myself. But when the first stages, when I was trying to get more clients for myself, whether it be messaging, Loom, organic content, right? Posting content on a consistent basis to nurture people. If I wasn't seeing results from it, I would have gave up. Sorry about that. I would have gave up, right? I would have gave up. I wouldn't have been able to either work with 6, 7, even 8-figure business owners if I stopped. I wouldn't have been able to build connections that I have today if I stopped. I wouldn't have been able to make up to, again, to 5K if I stopped. But I stayed consistent. I stayed patient. Remember, everyone, you can learn all the strategy. You can learn all the strategies in the world to get clients. But if you're not consistent, you're not patient enough, you won't achieve your goal. The whole secret for really, getting to that stage where you're getting clients, of course, is having the right strategies, making sure that you're building trust with people, building authority, right? Building trust with your prospects. But at the same time, if you're not consistent, you're not patient enough, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out at the end of the day. A lot of people tend to dabble to strategy to strategy. Again, they're not seeing instant results. Just commit to one proven process that'll actually allow prospects to build trust with you and stick with it for the long run. Right? I know for myself, even for my clients as well, the hybrid referral system is a proven process, right? And for Zion as well, if he didn't stay consistent and had patience, he would never land his first client, right? And that's the power of staying consistent and having patience. Gary V, I said this in my last live. Gary V said this: micro speed, macro patience. So what does that mean? You can take all the action on a day-to-day basis. So micro speed. So what is micro speed? Micro speed is you just staying consistent with your action on a day-to-day basis, doing the right things. But again, having macro patience, making sure that your patient level is a lot larger, right? And a lot bigger compared to the amount of action that you're taking, right? So again, remember, everyone, micro speed, take consistent action, and have macro patience throughout the journey, right? And always remember this line, the grass isn't greener on the other side. Again, just commit to the journey that you signed up to. If you're actually serious about having more freedom with copywriting, stay committed to the journey. Don't try to dabble from strategy to strategy. Oh, this isn't working out for me, so I'm going to do something else. Oh, this isn't working out for me, so I'm going to do affiliate marketing, right? Stick to the journey. The grass isn't green on the other side. And the craziest thing is, let's say if you quit on copy, let's say you end copywriting, you're going to have to do something else. You're going to have to start over again. You're going to go through the same exact process. Stick to the journey, stay committed to the journey, and stay patient in the journey. It's that simple. It's that simple. I hope I'm motivating and I'm breaking some beliefs. I'm shaking. I hope I'm shaking somebody's belief right now. I hope whoever's watching this, I hope you feel motivated right now. Right? The grass isn't greener on this other side. Commit to the journey you signed up to. Right? Because again, like I said before, let's say, you say, screw copywriting. Copywriting isn't for me. I'm going to go to day trading. I'm going to do affiliate marketing. I'm going to go do, Amazon or FBA, right? I'm going to have to invest a ton more money into, Amazon FBA, right? Compared to if I were to do copywriting, right? Where I don't have to invest any money to make more money. I'm going to have to, rack up a ton of money and go into Amazon, right? Let's say you do that. Right? You're going to have to deal with the same exact challenges because, again, you're going to have to learn a strategy to help you get more money, right? And imagine those things don't work out. Imagine you're doing all these things that it doesn't work out. You're going to be in the same exact tunnel that you were when you did with copywriting, right? So if you made a decision to yourself, if you made a solid decision to yourself that copywriting is something that you want to have more time, location, financial freedom for yourself, stick to the journey. Stay committed to the journey. Even though there's going to be setbacks, challenges, failures, it doesn't matter. Stay consistent to the journey. Stay consistent with the journey. The grass isn't greener on the other side, everyone. Commit to the journey you signed up to, right? You knew it was going to be, again, although everybody, when it comes to copy, of course, we all want that time, location, financial freedom. We want to work from our home. We want to be able to travel and work and make money. But at the end of the day, if you're not consistent and patient enough, you won't be able to see that. you won't be able to see that and achieve that goal that you set to yourself. So, lesson number 4, consistency and patience, right? So, lesson number 5, I want everyone to write this down. Everything will eventually work itself out. Everything will eventually work itself out. What's going on, Todd? What's going on, G? Stay committed and consistent. Exactly. Commitment and consistency is the key, right? What's going on, Todd? Hope you all having an epic day. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Hope you guys are feeling motivated and inspired right now. I hope you guys are feeling inspired at the end of the day. That's what I want, right? Lesson number 5, eventually everything will work itself out. Everyone, remember, problems and challenges are inevitable. It's part of life. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Even when you're struggling to get your first set of clients, whether you're struggling to, make that first 1K, 3K, 5K, 10K, even if you're struggling to get that first testimonial from a client, that's a problem and it's a challenge and it's inevitable. Everybody deals with it. It's not just you. Everybody deals with it. And there's probably a lot more people who have things a lot worse compared to where you're at right now, compared to that one mini challenge that you have right now, right? There's people struggling to get their, to get water in this world that as I'm talking right now, there's a problem. There's the people out there in the world right now, they're struggling to get fresh water, struggling to get their next meal, right? But again, the problem that you have is micro compared to a lot of third world problems going on in the world, right? Third world countries right now where people are struggling to get their fresh water, right? So again, if you think about it in that perspective, when you change your perspective on how you view the problems that you're currently facing right now, whether it be getting a new client, whatever the case may be, whether it be growing your income, whatever the case may be, there's somebody out there that has it worse. There's somebody who has it worse than you. And that's one thing that I had to stick to myself when I was doing copy. And even right now, right? That's the number one thing that I always thought to myself. When I was, doing all these Loom videos, I was doing messaging, right? And I wasn't seeing the instant results that I want. I was like, man, I want to give up. I should just throw in the towel. But then I realized, I was like, this problem is so much more micro compared to somebody else probably out in the world who's actually doesn't even know where their next meal is coming from. They don't know where their next meal is coming from, right? And honestly, I'm grateful that I have, God bless me with, parents, my grandmother, my girlfriend, everything, for me to be like, okay, even though, there's somebody else out in the world who's going through these things, even though I'm going through this challenge right now, I know somebody else is probably having it a lot worse than me. So I'm just going to continue to keep pushing through, stay persistent, and persevere through this because I can do it, right? So remember, everyone, the problems and challenges that you have are inevitable, and they're probably a lot more micro than you probably think, right? But if you stick to the journey long enough, and you don't give up, eventually everything's going to work itself out. Eventually, everything is going to work itself out. Todd said, yes, it does. God is great. Love that. I'm going to make you proud, my friend. You are making me proud every single day, Todd. I hope you know that. There's always someone out there that has it worse. So true, man. We got millions of people to help. Exactly. Right? Exactly. Right? I want you guys to remember this, right? So if you guys ever read, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, right? Lesson number 5, eventually everything will work out, right? So if you guys ever heard of the book Think and Grow Rich, right? Napoleon Hill, he talks about specifically how there was this man, right, who headed out to Colorado to drill for gold, right? And after numerous times of attempts to trying to go to the gold, right, he was digging and digging and digging days for days, right? He eventually had no luck and he gave up. Right? He was digging the gold for hours, days and days. And he eventually gave up. What's crazy? Somebody, I think it's the junk man, right? I think Napoleon Hill describes it as the junk man. The junk man saw an opportunity and hired an engineer who discovered the gold was only 3 feet from where that individual, the first individual, had stopped drilling. Only 3 feet left, and the second individual was able to get the gold. So what does that mean? Most people give up too early, and they're only 3 feet away from gold. I want you guys to hear what I just said. Most people give up too early, and they're only 3 feet away from gold. If you just heard from that example that I just said, the first individual, right? He was digging the gold, digging the gold, digging the gold, digging the gold, digging gold, and he eventually gave up. He was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm done. I can't do this. Somebody else saw an opportunity. He was digging the same exact thing, the same exact hole that that individual was doing. And he realized that if that first individual just dug in one more time, he would have eventually got the gold. But he gave up too early. He gave up too early. And the second guy was able to get the gold because of the fact the first guy gave up. So what am I trying to say? Most people give up too early, and they're only 3 feet away from gold. And that 3 feet away from gold could be the fact that you're about to land your first client. You're about to hit that first 3K month. You're about to hit that first 5K, whatever the case may be. Most people give up too early. Ouch, what a loss. It's just around the corner. Our success is so close. Love that, Todd. Love that. But again, right? Most people give up too early. So what is the whole perspective of what I'm trying to say? Everything will eventually work itself out. Just stick and commit to the journey. Like I said earlier, if you made a decision to yourself that copywriting is something that you want to do, stay committed to the journey. Don't try to dabble from strategy to strategy to strategy, from, this new business to another business, remote appointment setting to copywriting to starting your own content creation business. Focus on one thing. Stay committed to that one thing. Even though there's going to be challenges wherever you go. There's going to be challenges with whatever type of business you do. Just stay committed to that one thing. Everything's going to eventually work itself out unless you don't quit. Unless you don't quit. Remember, most people give up too early, and they're 3 feet away from gold. So for you, example, right? If you're watching this right now, right? You're probably out there putting as much effort as possible trying to get that first client, right? Or you're trying to get that first 3K to 5K, right? Or even that, 10K, right? You're doing all these things, right? You're reaching out to people, right? You're doing all these things, right? And let's say you gave up, right? You're like, I've done 1,000 reach outs, right? You've done 1,000 reach outs, right? And again, I like to keep things as, even I tell my clients this as well, right? I mean, for just so everybody's like clear with everything, when it comes to getting your first set of client, everyone, you got to reach out to people. But you got to do it the right way, of course. You want to build trust with the individual. You got to reach out to the right people. Then when you start getting your first clients, ask them for referrals. Ask them for referrals without you having to do anything. Allow your clients to get you more clients, right? But that's for another story. But I'm just going to say that just so whoever's watching is a copywriter, like, hey, that's really the easiest way, again, to get clients, in my personal opinion. That's something my clients are currently doing, right? But as I was saying, right? So yeah, right? Let's say you do 1,000 reach outs, right? You do 1,000 reach outs, right? You're like, you know what? I'm going to throw in the towel. Copywriting isn't for me. This copywriting business, it's not for me. I'm done. I'm done. I've done so much things. I'm putting so much effort. I'm putting so much time, putting so much things into this one thing. I'm not seeing any results. Imagine you gave up, right? Let's say you gave up, right? Now, let's say if you were to send that one more reach out, right? One more reach out. If you just sent that next reach out, just one more, imagine that could have been a client for you. And what am I trying to say? The whole perspective of that whole example, you gave up too early, and you were just 3 feet away from gold. You were only 3 feet away from gold. So this is essentially the whole perspective of everything. Stay committed to the journey, because you never know that one reach out that you do, you never know that's going to be the next client. You never know. You never know. That relationship that you build, that mentor that you have, right? That investment that you make into a mentor, you never know. You never know. That reach out that you do, that Loom video that you do, that piece of content that you do, you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. Right? Stay committed to the journey that you signed up to. Right? Lesson number 6, keep things simple. You know, personally, I'm a huge advocate. I like to keep my life as simple as possible. Focus on keeping your life simple, everyone. There are so many people that like to do like these busy works. Like they're like, oh, I have to do, I don't know. They have to do like, practicing. They have to like practice for I don't know. A lot of people, like one thing that I see, like a lot of people, they're always doing busy work. They're always doing busy work. They're always doing busy work. Like I'm always busy. I'm always busy. I'm always busy. I'm always busy. I get it. Everybody's busy. All right, I get it. I'm busy myself. Trust me, I'm a busy individual. Trust me, I'm a busy individual. Right? There's so many people doing busy work, but they're not doing the things that's pushing the needle forward. Right? There's so many people who are busy doing unnecessary things, but haven't even grown their copywriting business in months, or even hit the goal that they're trying to achieve. They didn't even hit the goal that they're trying to achieve. Right? There's so many people doing busy work. Oh, I have to do this. 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 They're not laser focused on the true things that's going to push the needle forward in their copywriting business. Whether it be sending a Loom video, whether it be posting a piece of content, whether it be messaging, so whatever the case may be. They're always focused on doing the other things that not really necessary to growth and getting to where they want to go to. Right? There's a lot of busy people. There's not a lot of productive people. There's not a lot of productive people, right? And if you're watching this right now, and again, if I'm calling you out, I'm trying to shake you up for you to realize you need to focus on productive things that's going to push the needle forward for you. Stop doing busy work. Stop doing, of course, I get it. You have family, you have everything, but the time when, you're watching Friday night, myself, I know for myself, Friday, I honestly, my mom could, my dad, my grandmother, everybody could, even my girlfriend knows I barely watch TV. I barely watch TV. Only time I watch TV is either on a Friday night when I'm done with my work. I finish everything that I needed to do. Right. Usually sometimes I start watching, like I watch one show at like 10 p.m. on a Friday night. Right. And then I go to bed at like 11. Right. Friday nights, I usually, Saturdays, I usually wake up at like 6:30, 7 a.m. Right. Monday through Friday, I wake up at 5 a.m. I do my little workout exercise and all that good stuff. Right. But the reason why I do these things, I focus on making sure that I have the right product. I just get my productive tasks finished before I do all the other busy work, like watching Netflix, watching TV, going on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, going through Facebook. That's a busy work. That's busy things that's not pushing the needle forward. Right? Focus on what's going to actually push the needle forward in your life. Right? Focus on those things. Right? There's a lot of people out here doing a lot of busy work, but they're still stuck in the same place, same position that they were 2 years ago. If I'm talking to you and I'm making you uncomfortable, good. That's what these lessons are meant to do, for you to change your perspective and helping you and motivate you to keep you going forward. Right? Personally, my life is built around my calendar. Right? Literally, everyone, I do the same thing every single day. Be completely honest with you. Monday, I wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning. Even in school, I was talking to my client Zion about this. I sent him a voice note. Him and I were going back and forth. I was like, even back in school, right? And I think it was beginning a senior year of college. That's when I started doing my 5 a.m. workouts, right? And actually, I was doing it a little bit junior year. It was more like 6 a.m., but I went to the 5 a.m. back in, like, I officially went to the 5 a.m. club senior year of high school or senior year of college, right? And every single day, that's been my life ever since then. Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. I wake up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. Then Saturday, I wake up at 7 a.m. And then Sunday is my day off. Day off for me to just reset, relax, read a book, enjoy time with family, spend time with my girlfriend. Right. That's what I do. That's my whole life. And that's all built around my calendar. Right. Every single day I wake up at 5 a.m. My calendar has it. I could even, if I could put my calendar up, you guys can see I wake up at 5 a.m. It says it on my calendar. Right. I eat dinner at 4 p.m. every single day. Right. And I go to bed relatively around 8 to 8:30. Personally, this week I've been going to bed around like 9:30. Even last week, because I have to do extra stuff. But for the most part, my calendar is relatively my whole life. And that's exactly what I do on my day-to-day basis. And again, my calendar keeps my life simple. I'm not doing, having this thing where like, when I'm doing my, my content, when I'm doing my, messaging, when I'm doing whatever the case may be. Or when I was a copywriter, I was doing my content, my messaging, I had my time set on exactly what I was doing. If it was, right after classes at 2 to 3:30, where I was doing messaging, I was messaging people. Whether it be Loom, at that time, I was messaging people. I had my time set, right? I was blocking out time for me to know exactly what I wanted to do throughout the time, right? So again, it's so vital to keep your life simple. If you want to create a calendar for yourself, do that. It keeps your life simple. Trust me, everyone. And one thing too to note, momentum is built by doing the boring things over and over and over and over and over again. That's how you build momentum in your copywriting business, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Personally, messaging people, again, in the beginning stages, that's something that's it's vital to do, because you got to put yourself out there, right? Sending out these Loom videos, posting content, like that's vital, right? You got to put yourself out there to get your first set of clients, and after that, you can start asking for referrals to get more consistent clients. But in the beginning stages, you're gonna have to do the boring work. You're going to have to do the boring work. Personally, I've realized doing the boring work is just a muscle. Momentum is built by doing the boring work on a consistent basis, whether it be doing messaging, sending Loom videos, creating content, etc., whatever the case may be, right? Momentum is built by doing the boring work day in and day out. If you guys, again, even want to know another key part of, creating success, whatever type of success, right? Whether it be, growing your own business, growing your own, like whatever the case may be, right? You need to do the boring work. You got to do the boring work. The boring work is mandatory. It's vital. You got to do it over and over and over and over and over again. It's a muscle. At first, it may be a little bit daunting. It may be a little frustrating. It may be a little challenging. But over time, it just becomes second nature, right? So momentum is built by doing the boring work over and over and over again. And remember, everyone, as well, your daily habits are the foundation to your success. Do the needle moving tasks that'll build momentum in your life to achieve the big goals that you set to achieve for yourself. Always remember that. Lesson number 7 now. Gratitude. This is the last lesson. Gratitude. Live in a state of constant gratitude. There are people who most likely have it a lot worse than you, no matter what problems you're facing. Like I said with the example earlier, there's probably people who don't know what is the next last meal. Personally, I live in a state of gratitude every single day. My grandmother's here, right? My grandmother's here with me. I have my parents. I have my beautiful girlfriend. I have friends. I have mentors. I have, my clients. My clients, so grateful for them. So grateful for each and every single one of them. So grateful for each and every single one of them, right? Every single one of them, right? And again, I live in a constant state of gratitude because, one, it allows my mind and my perspective of the world to allow me to just focus on what I have right now and not focus on the outcome of what I'm trying to achieve. If I live in a state where I'm like, okay, I'm grateful for what I have right now. Gratitude reflects great attitude. Perfect, mom. You said it right there. You said it right there. Your attitude is everything. Always remember that. Your attitude is everything. Your attitude is everything. I live in a state of gratitude every single day, right? Because personally, I've realized, I'll be completely honest with you. There's some days where I'm just focused on the outcome. Like, oh, I want to achieve this. 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 But I just focus on what I have right now. If I focus on what I have right now, My focus on, and if I focus on the fact that I have a family who's still with me, I have my grandmother who's still with me, I have my parents who are still with me, I have my friends, my mentors, my girlfriend, I have my clients who are still with me, I have a community, right? I have a community of people who are still with me, right? I have people who are still with me, my loved ones who are still with me. That's the biggest thing I need to focus on. Of course, staying consistent, doing the consistent actions, but I just focus on what's around me, right? That's gonna help me to push to continue going where I want to go to, right? As people, we often take things that are happening in our life for granted. So what does that mean? We often take the individuals that we have in our life for granted, the loved ones that we have, right? We often take, the fact that we have food, we have a house, we have water, we have, the basic things in life. Because if you really think about it, everyone, the basics that you really need in life to actually live, right, is water, food, clothes, house. We often take these small, tiny things for granted that we have already, right? But if we focus on being grateful for what we have while still executing towards the vision, I'm telling you, the perspective of how you view your entire world is going to change. Remember what I said earlier. Once your perspective changes on the world follows, right? And this is the number one reason, even for my coaching calls, every single coaching call, I discuss the big wins that are currently happening in everyone's life. That's the number one reason, because I want everyone to focus on the wins. Like literally every single coaching call, I'm like, so every single coaching call, there's usually a lot of music playing. It's a good vibe. I'm like, I always say like my one speech where I'm like, hey, we live in a world where there's a ton of people. If you look in the news, you look in social media, right? It's all positive, right? And I always say, I'm being sarcastic. I write laughs, ha ha ha. It's so funny, right? All my clients love that. All my clients love that, right? I got that from my mentor. My mentor always says that as well, right? But yeah, we focus on the big wins. Like what's happening? What's the win that's happening in your life, right? Whether it be you sent out a reach out, right? Whether it be you sending a Loom video, what's the current wins? Right. Because again, everybody has problems. Everybody has problems. Me personally, if I wanted to talk about problems, I could probably talk about countless of things going wrong. Right. But what's the wins? Let's focus on the wins that are happening in our lives. Right. It's the fact that, you did a reach out today. Yes, I'm talking to you, the copywriter right now, who's still watching this right now. If again, I don't know who's watching this, right? But if you are, I'm talking to you, right? Did you do a reach out today? Did you send a Loom video out? Did you post a piece of content? Did you do things to move the push needle forward? Maybe you didn't land a client. It's okay. Did you still do the things that's going to push needle forward? Boom. That's the win. That's the win. Live in a state of gratitude. Focus on the wins that's currently happening in your life, not the problems, challenges. Because again, everybody has challenges. Because again, there's a lot of people who probably have a lot worse than you. Just focus on the wins that's currently happening in your life. So, again, everyone, those are my 7 lessons that I learned. So, lesson number 1: change your identity, change your perspective on the world. Remember, once you change your identity, the world follows. Lesson number 2: you can't figure it out on your own. Find someone who's been in your shoes before and has the results that you want. Find a mentor, because again, you will eventually hit a plateau if you consistently do the same thing over and over again. Remember, everyone, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing all over again, expecting a different result. You doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result, you're insane. That's a line from Albert Einstein. Check it on Google. Check it out on Google, right? Lesson number 3: become a sponge of knowledge. What courses and mentors are you learning from on a consistent basis? What are you consistently learning on a daily basis to help you out? The more you learn, the more you earn. Always remember that. 4, consistency and patience. The key of copywriting, everyone, is stay consistent and patient, right? Stay consistent and patient. Remember, most people are 3 feet away from gold. You remember that analogy that I said? Most people are 3 feet away from gold. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Lesson number 5: everything will eventually work out itself, right? Eventually, everything's going to work out itself. Stay committed to the journey. The grass is not green on the other side. Commit to the journey you signed up to. And if you're serious, if you're actually serious about this, Stay committed to the journey. 6, keep things simple. Create a calendar. Make your life simple. Don't overcomplicate your life, right? There's a lot of people doing all these busy work. There's a lot of people doing busy work that's not pushing the needle forward for themselves. Focus on keeping things simple. Then lastly, live in a state of gratitude, right? Be grateful for the things that you have right now in your life and constantly live in a state of gratitude. Focus on the wins that's currently happening, not the losses, the challenges, frustrations. What wins did you just have today? Focus on those things. If you guys got a lot of value out of today's live training, but hashtag value. Again, those were the 7 major lessons that I personally learned from making 5K a month as a copywriter. And again, how you guys can do the same thing as well, leveraging these exact lessons, leveraging all these lessons I just learned to help you guys to get to that next level. Right. So hope you guys are all having an epic day. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. If not, I'm going to end the live. Right. And again, I hope you guys are all having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. All right. We got Todd, we got my mom, we got Nana. What's going on, everyone? Again, hope you guys are having an epic night. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll answer them after the live. But other than that, I love you guys all and have a nice night. Bye-bye.